So with that, let's welcome my friend Roberto Munoz.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. How you all doing today? I can tell you that I'm a very energetic person, so I'll start off by telling you that energy just flows through my veins. I know it flows through all of yours, but it super flows through mine. And it happens every single day when I wake up, and don't ask me why. There's a lot of people out there that do know me in the group. I've even traveled with a few of you to Hong Kong as an example and around the world doing transactions and opportunities, and I'm always energetic, so even if the hour changes, I'm still going to be energetic. Welcome today. I want to thank Michael for putting on a fantastic show. This is a show. This is one of these shows where you learn your trade. You get deeper in your contact base. You get to understand issues that you might not necessarily fully understand, but know they exist. It's very hard to come and get a bunch of experts together, talk about a vast series of opportunities that exist, and finally come to your conclusion as to I want to be there, I want to do that, or I am already doing something, and I want my name to be out there. I want to sell my bag of tricks to make sure that everybody understands what I'm doing, because the reality is this is a very diverse market, and we're one of the best cities in the world for having a diverse market. For me, a Miami guy, this is the best city in the world. So I come from that point of view. I'd like to thank our great party friends here today from the Beacon Council. Mario Sacasa, who has worked with me for many years at the Beacon Council, is a great partner. I'm a private sector person, which I'll tell you in a minute. And Dr. Yap Donath, I don't know if Yap is here. He's the economic. He's your economic advisor for Dade County. I mean, I would say my Beacon Council specifically, but as an economist, he's very good at what he does and helps out in understanding where we're going. I want to say special thanks to Vanya Hajdovic. Almost there. I'm getting closer. Now, Vanya is from Croatia. Serbia. I've said that before, too. I'm almost there. Almost. Am I close? Kind of close. Okay, well, one day I'll get to that crossroads and I'll say them both very well and I'll know where you are, but thank you for all your hard work. You do a great job. Today, I'm going to talk about Florida. Before I do that, though, what's my background? I came to Miami, and I'm not shy to tell you, in 1956. There was no downtown Miami. I can tell you that Alicia has been here for a long time. I've been here for a real long time. I've seen this city grow into what it is today. I had the pleasure not only of coming to Miami in 1956 from Panama, which we all know is a great city too, it's a sister city to Miami, but Miami is in America, and Panama is not. It's the greatest country in the world. We all know that to be true. Having come here from Panama when I was 6 months old, at 9 years old, my dad, who worked for Pan American Airways, and that's why we traveled, he was an American, asked the family or told the family or invited the family, whatever which way, to go to Hong Kong. And so from 9 years old to 16, I grew up in Asia, and I grew up in Hong Kong specifically, and I traveled all over the world as a result of that experience, and really had international friends when I was 9, 10, 11, and 12 years old, 13, 14, India, Korea, England, Italian, whatever it might have been, and I was brought up very internationally. I came back to Miami in my same home in Miami Springs when I was 16 years old, so I came back. And here is where I finished my high school, and here is where I went to college, FIU. And FIU at that time was not a well-known school. Today it's very well-known with some very excellent degrees and very excellent well-known activity. I started my career in international banking in a bank called Continental of Illinois, for those of you that know that, 40 years ago. Now, Continental went down, we do know that, in the oil field. So we're talking commodities, we're talking gold, but banks go down also. There's lots of crisis activities that occur when you're overexposed in an asset bubble. And Continental was overexposed in an asset bubble. And that asset bubble was oil. But I got great training because it was one of the best banks in America and very difficult to get into. But I was able to get into that bank and spend 3 years, and I was running Colombia, Panama, Ecuador, as 3 countries. And I can tell you, when you're 24 years old and running 3 countries, you're lost as a bat. I really was not lost because I'm international. I've mentioned that to you. But giving you a lot of opportunity to do business with the government, with private sector enterprise, with banks called correspondent banking, the 3 fundamental areas of business. So I spent 3 years there, and my boss, when it was going down, said, listen, if I were you, really, I would leave American banking. There's going to be a lot to do here. So I said a lot of consolidation, a lot of activity, a lot of negative things that could affect you in the future. So I walked across the street. I was already kind of known in Miami, and I walked across the street to Barclays Capital. And there I spent the next 3 years, and I was an international analyst doing cross-border analytics, correspondent banking, analytics, macroeconomic analytics for Latin America. And then they opened a domestic lending unit within a foreign bank. There was a moment when, in those 3 years, a Japanese bank opened their doors in Miami called Fuji Bank. Those that don't know that today is Mizuho Bank, one of the largest banks in the world. Fuji was among the largest in the world. I then spent the next 15 years there doing business internationally. I got highly exposed to the Japanese in both cross-border finance, multinational finance, government finance, correspondent banking, and really got to understand private sector lending, government lending, and how to do it right and not lose any money in the process. And that was a great experience, except, of course, Japan had an asset bubble. So in their asset bubble, Fuji Bank did close the Miami office, and I had the pleasure of walking across the street to work for Israel Discount Bank. Now, Israel Discount Bank is a Jewish organization. So far, in Miami, Continental Illinois, Barclays Capital, Fuji Bank, Israel Discount Bank for the next 7 years as their chief lending officer for Florida. And so I understood cross-border financing from the eyes of the Israelis. Totally different point of view, very interesting global connections, global individuals, very interesting way of doing business. And there came a moment when I decided that I did not want to continue. I went on to a local bank here called Regions Bank to run their South Florida market. Was there for 3 years and then offered a job to be a president CEO of a bank here called Marquis Bank. So I was a president CEO, and then I became also chief lending officer and board of directors. And the government said to me, we're giving you all these 4 titles, which that doesn't happen. So if you mess it up, you're going to go to prison. I said, yeah, I'm not going to prison, but I will do a good job. And I did. I was able to sell that bank. And then I was able then to hook up with the Spaniards for the next 7 years. I became president CEO of BBVA, Banco Bilbao Vizcaya from Spain in Miami, and grew that bank to about $1 billion. Now, when I joined Fuji Bank, going back a little bit, when I joined Fuji Bank, that was also de novo, built out to $3 billion. So building this to $1 billion wasn't that difficult for me because I had already done that before in my life. But again, looking at the European point of view and having the chance of working in South Florida under a different set of activities, I grew that bank extremely well. Not only in domestic lending, but in wealth management. I grew a board of directors. Mike was a member of that, is a member of that. I left, I retired. I retired for about a year, for about 8 months, and a bank called Florida Community Bank, and I'll tell you that story for 1 second. Florida Community Bank hired me. And Florida Community Bank is a hedge bank. They got their money out of New York, $400,000, 10 years ago, built a bank to $13 billion. During that $13 billion run, they went back to New York, got $300 million more at $700 million, just sold for $3 billion to Synovus Bank out of Georgia. We had 50 branches built. We have another 200 and something. So now, Florida Community Bank, which will be known as Synovus Bank, will be about 300 branches with a very nice footprint in South Florida, as well as the rest of the Southeast USA, which gives me a great footprint to continue doing our business. Our bank is a hedge bank, and I will tell you today was a very important day in Miami for all who don't know. But at 10:30 in the morning today, Perry Ellis went private. For those that don't know, Perry Ellis was a publicly traded company founded in Miami, headquartered in Miami, and managed by the Feldenkrais family as a public entity. Today, through hedge money, about $400+ million was approved to go back into the hands of the Feldenkrais as a private company. So for Miami, today is a great day, and it's a great day for hedge because we continue to see hedge money being invested in Miami in different phases of the curve for investment-related activity. There are a lot of businesses here, a lot of historic business here, and a lot of them are to be had. Today, I have a presentation on why Florida. And why Florida? Because the reality of my statement is that I love where I live, I love where I work, and I love the people who I work with. And most of you, if not all of you, I look forward to having you here in Miami one day, living and working and playing with the rest of us. So why Florida? Well, I will say a couple of things about myself. Again, I am also the, let me just see how this works. Maybe it works. Okay. So, I'm not only am I a Florida Community Bank, but I'm also an officer, an executive board member, and a cabinet officer with the Beacon Council. Great organization. It is an economic organization for Miami-Dade County, funded mostly by the county at the beginning. It is now a private partnership, private-public partnership, and we sell Miami-Dade County in a way that creates jobs for this economy, a way that fosters economic growth. Our number one trading partner right now, our number one investor in Miami is Spain. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Spain is our number one investor as an example of going across the pond, finding a company, finding companies, finding a country that is willing to invest. And we have over 400 companies located in South Florida, 50,000 Spaniards in South Florida, currently working and enjoying their growth cycle for cross-border finance. That is, where? In the United States. Why? 300 million people plus in the United States, in our region. Why? South America. Why? 700 plus million people or so, 1 billion person market for them to be able to access from Miami as the principal point of entry. I'm also the incoming chairman or chair-elect of the World Trade Center, New York. For those from New York, the World Trade Center, we know what that is. It's a great organization. The chair-elect starting in January. I become chairman. I'm also the executive board member and treasurer of the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, great organization in Miami. I'm also the former chairman of the Florida International Bankers Association. It is the second largest international banking organization in the United States. Only New York is larger. Miami has the second largest international banking center among all centers in the U.S., larger than California, larger than Texas. And so we're a fantastic place for international business. Through that international business comes international law firms, international accounting firms, internationalism and foreign trade, as well as international wealth management. All comes because banking is the creator, is a nexus for that kind of activity, despite laws, despite compliance. People want to have their money safely tucked, and it's not in their mattress. That's for sure. They want to have it in a good bank. Miami has all the great foreign banks located here, and it's the second largest, again, of the world. I was recently in Hong Kong with both the Beacon Council as well as the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce. I signed the Memorandum of Understanding with the Hong Kong Bankers Association to have bilateral activities between Hong Kong and Miami in the international banking arena. There are over 80 banks also in the Hong Kong international financial market. We have 80 here, so we make for a very good cross-border opportunity, and we've been working together now for a good amount of time. I also sit on the board of the Chapman Partnership for the Homeless, as well as other organizations that are valuable and well regarded in this community, helping this community to be what it is, and that's a great community. Again, I'm going to have hope this is how it turns. It does. Okay, Florida is a large market. Florida ranks around the 16th largest economy in the world. 16th largest economy in the world. Florida is the 16th largest economy in the world. That's a hell of a statement when you talk about 100 plus countries on a global basis. We have the third largest population in the United States with 20 million residents. We did surpass New York State to become number 3. We will, I'm not sure, become number 2. Texas is about 25 million people, as we all know. California is about 30 plus million. So it might be a little while before we do reach that. But number 3 in the United States. About 112 million people visit Florida annually. Now, that's a lot of visitors, I will tell you that. And that's all the way from Orlando down to Miami. But 112 million people leave a whole lot of money on a daily basis. They leave probably $300-400 a day based on that, on these statistics. Florida exports nearly $52 billion in goods made in this state, and the 7th largest or highest among all states in the United States. We are the 2nd largest foreign trade zone in the world, in the United States, 2nd largest foreign trade zone, and ranks among the highest in the world. for foreign trade zones. So we are naturally geared towards international business. One out of every 5 companies listed in or working or having a presence in Florida exports. One of every 5 is an export-oriented company. Just as a comparison with the world, and I like doing this, Alicia was very good to say something very important. She said that Brazilians were coming. I don't look at it that particular way as she's looking at it. I'll tell you how I do look at it. When Cuba fell, there were 16 million people in Cuba. 10% of Cuba came to the United States, around 10% of 16 million. About 1.6 million, maybe 2 million Cubans came from Cuba when Cuba fell to communism. In Colombia, we have in Miami about 400,000. It's about a 40 million population base in Colombia. We have about 400,000 that have come, or about one half of what is that? 1% of the population, more or less. Well, Brazil has 200 plus million people. Just 1% of that will be 2 million people coming to Miami. So comparatively, Brazil could really populate Miami if there was a real crisis and only 1% came. It'd be a massive influx of people, and it would only be 1% of the population. So there's a lot to do. When we rank Florida as the 17th largest economy, what are we comparing that to? Well, Florida's economy is nearly $1 trillion. We have about 21 million, as I mentioned, population. We rank next to Turkey. Turkey has 851 billion, less than we do, 100 billion smaller than we are, population of 80 million, and our per capita income is $48,000 versus their per capita income of 10,000. So you can see how strong this economy is. When I boil that down to the Miami metropolitan statistical area, we have 6 million people in our geography, and we rank not only as the 33rd largest economy in the world, South Florida, 33rd largest economy in the world, but we rank next to Hong Kong. And ranking that close to Hong Kong, we can call ourselves Hong Kong in South Florida because that's what we rank to. And finally, Miami-Dade County, you're living in Miami-Dade County, we have about a $150 billion economy with 3 million people. We also rank, just this area ranks as the 56th largest economy in the world, next to Hungary. So not only is Florida 17, South Florida 33, but Miami is the 56th largest economy in the world. These are very impressive statistics. The business climate in Florida, no personal income tax. We're the second best state for business, according to the chief executive magazine. We have expedited permitting and regulatory assistance available. Miami-Dade Beacon Council is a very excellent place to assist you to move to this area. Since 2010, we've cut regulations 3,000 times. The Governor Scott has been very active in reducing our tax burden as well as our regulatory burden. So since 2010, we've cut taxes 40 times. We are a leader in high-tech employment in the U.S., and we have about 9.7 million people in our labor force. So it's a very strong labor force within the state. And also we have 5 million foreign speaking individuals. So our primary language is Spanish, which is great because you communicate out to Latin America, but also Brazil and other areas also are very prevalent for our foreign language activity globally. Really, we speak 100 languages in the region. Population growth, as I mentioned before, we expect by the year 2022 that our population will grow in Florida from 20 million or 21 million to about 22.6. Not a lot, but there are 1,000 people moving in a day. That's what that equates to, about 1,000 people a day. Why Miami? I love Miami. This is a beautiful city. Again, if you would have seen it 35, 40 years ago. 40 years ago when I started banking, there wasn't much out here at all. We are the #1 best city for business in Latin America by America Economía. #1 happiest place to work in the United States. I guess you could look out the window and really figure out that you'd like to be out there, not in here, but Miami is a fantastic place to have fun. We're #1 in startup activity according to the Kauffman Foundation Index. Number one most transit accessible U.S. airport. We have more access to more places than most airports in the world, especially to Latin America, where we actually are number one in the world. Number one county for healthy lifestyle choices. Number one most international freight in the U.S. We beat all airports for freight in the United States. Number one, U.S. First in U.S. school districts to provide wireless connectivity. Number two in the nation for tech job creation. Number two in the nation for international passengers. Top 10 cities for women entrepreneurs. That's a great statement. And we're growing that more and more because women are highly regarded here and their strength is well known. We love to see our leaders be diverse, strong, and have full access to all access to our business environment. We have 1,000 multinational companies located here. Foreign-born residents in Miami, 41% have a bachelor's degree. That's very good, by the way, 41%. We have 106 languages in our schools, as I mentioned. Miami has a diverse economy, and you can see the diversity. It is not just international banking. It is trade. It is education, 15%, and health services, professional and business services. Total government is 13%. Leisure and hospitality, as you can see, is a slice of 12%. So you would think that this is only a workplace to have fun and have tourism, et cetera. It's not. It's 12% of our economy. Our number one is trade, transportation, utilities, education, healthcare, professional, which is banking, and business services. That takes up the large majority of our pie. As per the Beacon Council, these are the target industries in Miami-Dade County. Aviation is a targeted industry. That's where this is where we want our growth to occur. And it's part of our business targeting. Aviation, banking and finance, creative design, hospitality, tourism, life sciences and healthcare, technology, trade and logistics. These all amount to about 1.1 million jobs, and our average annual growth rate of all sectors is about $60,000, of which banking and finance is the highest at about $129,000 average salaries. A lot of that's international, but average salaries. As far as cost of living, look, New York City is 2.3 times more expensive than most cities in America. Our average is only 1.15. So we're slightly above by 15% the U.S. average. New York City is quite expensive. San Francisco is 190, also very expensive, and so is Washington. So Miami also has a good value proposition for cost of living comparison. Our tax comparisons can't really compete. Miami has zero state, zero local, state tax of only 5.5%, zero on the income. This is personal income tax, corporate income tax, 0% on the local, sales tax 6%, and then 1% local. Very reasonable taxation, very, very reasonable. I can tell you that if you just left New York City and didn't pay all that tax, you could buy $1 million unit in Miami, and what you don't pay in taxes, you pay your residents. And so it belongs to you. It doesn't go to somewhere else. By the way, I was in New York City, rough roads, bad bridges. It's kind of rough. I wasn't too impressed. Miami's great. We're brand new. This is a beautiful place to be. And by the way, the sun always shines here too. It's a fantastic place. Nothing bad about New York. I love New York, but it's just not what it was or what it is, and it ain't going to get better, that's for sure. But Miami is growing, and it is better. Finance and insurance industry in Miami. Again, these are statistics on, you can take pictures of it because I'm going to just jump through some of these pictures as my time is now running out. But on average, we have very strong salary base and a very good place for business activity. More importantly, we heard about that. Our talent is very good. Portfolio management by industry, again, average salaries in that particular field are about $242,000. Talent pool in Miami, strong talent all the way around. We're graduating associates, bachelors, and master's degree individuals in seven colleges in Miami-Dade, very strong colleges, about 240,000, as was mentioned before, 240,000. You imagine if we were just a college city, we'd be the fourth largest college city in America. So throw everything away, just call yourself a college city. We're the fourth largest college city in America. That also sounds like fun. Multinationals in South Florida, there are about 1,000 in Miami-Dade, and about 1,400 in all of South Florida. Most companies are using Miami as a platform for the Americas, not just Latin America or the Caribbean. Spain is the #1 number of multinationals with 81 as one country, with the United Kingdom at 58 and France at 49. We are headquartered to Benihana, Burger King, Ryder, Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Telemundo, Universal, Perialis, many. We are the world headquarters, as mentioned before, including Lennar, I did not mention, World Fuel, and Greenberg Traurig, to mention a few. Shouldn't mention them here at Ackerman. Ackerman's a global organization. Miami is a global city. Our transit is very, very good. By the way, I left downtown. I left downtown, deep in downtown, to come to Brickell. Took me 5 minutes to get here. And 12 o'clock traffic. 12 o'clock traffic. Took me 5 minutes. No traffic at all. Fantastic. We have talent, transit, arts, culture. Our ports and seaports and universities are very strong. We have very strong activities going on there. They are the engines of our economic activity. I'm being looked at to finish off as fast as I can, which I will. Miami Customs, we mentioned Brazil. They are our #1 trading partner. China is #2. That's very strange because usually China is #1 in a whole lot of cities. 6 hours away from Miami. I can tell you, 6 hours would take you all the way up to northern Canada and all the way as far south as Lima, Peru, in only 6 hours. And Miami has access to all of that. So we have a very strong base. Within 9 hours, you get all the way down to the bottom of Argentina, which is great because it's just a 9-hour trip. How many of you don't sleep those 9 hours or watch TV those 9 hours or just enjoy a great trip for the 9 hours? I do when I go. I'm happy to be out. I'm happy to be traveling. I love international. And I love to get back to Miami too. The One Community Goal project from the Beacon Council is our primary initiative in our diversification of our economy. A diversified economy is one that lasts. A diversified economy creates sustainability. And as a result of that, we have mapped out our strengths and where we want to grow. And this strengths and growth and investment will allow this community to continue growing and into the future, as well as maintain a very healthy economy, one that will allow enterprises like you to grow in multi-sector areas, as well as be able to get your return that you're looking for from a location like Miami, as well as the international activities that you could actually have as a result. I'm going to just move on. We have 300 private schools. Quality of life is great. You imagine, just go back to that. Look at this. You can just go right now, leave right now, and in 5 minutes be on the water with your Speedo. I don't want to have one on, but anyway, the Speedo, and it would be amazing. So just the last thing, fantastic. Thank you very much for coming out today, and I'm very pleased to have been here.